Hello. Hey y'all. How is it going? I hope you are all doing well. Sorry I'm late. My OBS live streaming thing kept on closing on me and I was like, what is going on? Every time I tried to start it. So gave it a few seconds and now it's seems to be working, so fingers crossed it holds together. But welcome everybody. Apologies in advance. My allergies have been kicking my ass all weekend. The wildfires have already started, as they always do at this time of year in Alberta. And between that and the wind, my eyes have been so itchy the whole damn weekend. which was a struggle because I had shows to film and things to do, and it was not fun. I had to kind of just like struggle through it, but I got some great shots of the band that I was hired to film, so plus side always. But hey everyone, hey Edmund, hey Sandy, hey Kaiwan. Hope you are all doing well. Yeah, great week on GH, you're right. Yeah, what's up everybody? Welcome to the General Hospital After Show. I am your host, Dion Gabriel. And boy, do we have a ridiculous amount of drama to unpack this week. Considering it was only a 4-day show week, there was a lot of drama packed into it. So, let's just talk about it, yeah? Let's just talk about it. I mean, obviously there were two major stories that happened this week. Michael and Gio. We'll get into the Michael stuff first, because we might as well. We'll get into all of it. Last week ended with Michael making his grand re-entrance to Port Charles at the end of the nurse's ball. And walking out of the ballroom with his son Wiley, he takes him back to Grandma Carly's place for a sleepover, and soon after, Willow gets a call from Amelia's babysitter saying that Jason took Amelia to see Michael. First of all, love that the babysitter didn't call Willow until long after Jason left with Amelia. That's hilarious. Even the sitter knows them kids should not be in that house. But anyway, Carly, Joss, and Wiley have a happy reunion. And it seems that Michael is fully healed from his burn injuries so quickly. Only on a soap, folks. Meanwhile, though, Willow and Drew ran to the PCPD and told Mac that Amelia's been kidnapped. But when they say that she's with Michael, Mac's just like, well, then that doesn't sound like a kidnapping to me. But they demand he goes over there anyway, so he does. And we don't really see what happens once Mac is at the house, but when he gets back to Drew and Willow without their child, Mac tells them that he's got a court order granting him emergency custody of both of the kids. And then Willow, hey Brooklyn, Willow, in a last-ditched effort, goes over to Carly's to talk to Michael, and boy, did it not go well for her. Turns out Michael is no longer playing around. He tells her that she's an awful person and incapable of putting her kids first, lowers the boom by telling her that every time he talked to Wiley on the phone, he's not only asked when Michael is coming back, but when they will be going home away from Drew's house. Honestly, the least shocking thing is that Willow didn't bother to ask if they wanted to move in with Drew in the first place, and I'm glad that he pointed it out to her, because although Wiley is still pretty young, you would think he'd be asking, like, his mom when they're coming back home or going back home, and if he hasn't, then that means he doesn't feel comfortable asking her. So he's probably more receptive than she cares to even notice. But Michael ends up giving her an ultimatum, essentially. She can either see her kids or be with Drew, but she can't do both. Willow, who's devastated obviously, goes back to the car where Drew's waiting for her and says that there's no budging him. What's wild is Drew was so sure he had Willow hook, line, and sinker and would put him over the kids. And when she was considering leaving him, he convinces her to not do that. with whatever bizarre spell he has on her. He insists that they'll win, and that they'll dig up dirt on Michael and use that to win the kids. But here's where things get interesting. Nina, she meets up with Maxie at the Brown Dog to vent about what's going on, and was considering coming clean about her affair with Drew. But when Maxie starts talking about Jason and Sasha and mentions how Sasha had initially told her a story about how she got drunk at the Brown Dog with a stranger, hooking up with some random guy is what her story was at the time. And basically, it gets the wheels turning in Nina's head. And Nina starts to ask the bartender questions. Asks if he recalls seeing Sasha that night specifically. And just as a reminder, this was the same night that Cody had punched Drew in the face. So it was a memorable night in general. The bartender remembers Sasha being there. And then she shows him a picture of Jason and asks if he was there. And while the bartender knew who he was like, no, that's Jason Morgan. He's not who she was with. So she Googles a picture of Michael, and the bartender confirms it was him that she was all over and leaving the bar with. So now Nina's sitting on this bombshell that she apparently thinks will grant or guarantee Willow gets custody. And I'm sitting here like, well, they both cheated. It doesn't matter who cheated first. They both did a bad thing. The only difference is, I guess one cheated on the floor of the playroom where any kid could have walked in, while the other at least went to a hotel room. But also, I don't think infidelity is grounds to grant someone full custody of their kids. Like make the argument that Michael's father's enemies could put the kids in danger since one of them literally turned him into a roasted marshmallow. And make the argument that Willow being with a polarizing politician that has a lot of enemies in town and ends up getting drugged and having mobs of paparazzi following him is not a good environment for a kid to grow up in either. Like, both are good arguments. But yeah, and even mentioned that Drew wants her to move out of New York State altogether, and that could factor in as well. All of that would make more sense than to lose your kids over hooking up or Michael knocking someone up. Like, that's just like the most ridiculous thing. It's not a full custody situation. But anyway, Nina's not even sure if she wants to use this ammo and confides in Ava about it because she realizes if Willow wins custody, nothing will stop her from leaving with Drew to DC, which would result in losing not only her daughter, but her grandkids as well, to a vile man who manipulates her and isolates her from everyone that she knows and cares about. So she'll ultimately have to decide if she's going to share this information with Rick. We see that she's kind of thinking about it at the end of Friday's episode. But yeah, Rick has already called Sasha in for an appearance. And I'm glad that Nina's at least thinking about Sasha in the situation. Because initially I was a little thrown that she didn't seem too phased that she would be throwing Sasha under the bus if she did this. But I'm glad that she kind of was like, I care about Sasha, like, she's a daughter to me. So she's putting that factor in as well. She doesn't want to see Sasha get hurt in this either. And then at the same time, Carly then seeks out Curtis for help and wants him to write a smear campaign, which he obviously can't because Drew's blackmailing his wife. So there's that little factor. So they'll have to figure out another way to punish him. But Portia mentions to Curtis that she and Nina drugged Drew, which I'm glad that she told him. So I was like, she should probably tell him that part. But yeah, and she tells him about that, and that Nina sent the sex worker, what's her name? Jacinda? The one that the woman that she hired to drug Drew in the first place, sent her away in an untraceable place or whatever. But Curtis thinks that they need to track her down. I'm not exactly what for. Like, my only guess is maybe they plan on paying her to lie and say that she got the ketamine, or that he got the ketamine himself. I'm sure whatever the result will be will probably make a bigger mess than there already is, but it is what it is. Now, one last thing when it comes to Michael is that he and Sasha have been getting reacquainted. She's like 7 months into her pregnancy at this point, I think, and has gotten really close to Jason. But do we feel like Sasha could change her mind about not wanting Michael to be any part of her baby's life? What do you guys think? I'm gonna take a breath. That was a lot to unpack in like a 5-minute talk. What are y'all saying? Angel said, "Yeah, I don't see how." Hey, Angel, and hey, Aaron. I gotta scroll back up. Wow, I talked for a lot there. Kaiwan, stop bringing politics into this. What are you doing? Like, what are you doing, dude? Like, I'm just gonna ignore what you're saying because you somehow managed to make it about Trump, and we're talking about soaps. Quiet. Anyway, ridiculous. Aaron, hey, Angel. Yeah, I don't see how infidelity makes you an unfit parent, especially when Willow cheated first. Yeah. Well, I mean, Willow kissed Drew first, and then he slept with Sasha, and then then Willow slept with Drew after that. But it's ridiculous. It's like infidelity does not equal bad parent. It's the rest of it. It's the rest. Yeah, Angel, like you said, danger and neglect, however, is ground for full custody. And, you know, one could argue that they both have situations that could cause this kind of stuff. You know, they cost them their kids. You know, Michael's father, unfortunately, got him burned in the first place, which makes, you know, life dangerous unless Michael stays away from Sonny. And, you know, Drew's a politician. He's gonna, like, have his enemies and political attacks and people going after him because he's a shitty person. So, like, you know, whether you know, we know that Drew was drugged, but it's not necessarily proven as of yet. And whether it goes one way or the other, like, the argument is there that, like, either he is partying and a danger to the kids, or he is in a situation where enemies are going after him and drugging him, and that shouldn't be around the kids either. So it could really go either way. Angel, you said Jason is more dangerous than Michael. Her argument against Michael makes no sense. Let him be a dad. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, like that. The Sasha and Jason thing has made no sense to begin with. I think that they have a pretty decent chemistry, to be honest, but like Sasha making Jason the father was like the stupidest thing. Like, it made her argument like completely ridiculous. Allison, you said she really likes him. Aaron, you said, hey Dion, what do you think about the actor playing Michael? I think he's doing an okay job. But you guys, like, I'm not even gonna pretend to not be biased about this. I did not like Chad Duell as Michael. So, like, I feel like anyone would be a step up at this point. But I also feel like we haven't seen enough for me to judge. Like, he's only been back a few days. He hasn't had to do a whole lot, you know? So, I mean, with Alexa, who plays Lulu, it's different because she had a lot to do in, like, the first 2 weeks that she's there. And I think we're going to see, obviously, more of Michael. I think he did a great job at playing the sort of cold, you know, no-holds-bar Michael in the scenes that we saw him in. But we got to see how he does in, like, the actual really emotional, like, sad emotional stuff, the humorous stuff that Michael can do, just a bit of everything. He's got great chemistry with his kid, the kid that's, or the actor that plays the kid, Michael's kid. And he's got okay chemistry with Sasha too, but I haven't seen enough to really. Sorry about my dog, y'all. She's probably playing with my mom. But I lost my train of thought. Thanks, Toffee. But yeah, it's I don't know. Yeah, I don't know enough. I haven't seen enough to really judge Michael, and I do try to take my time to kind of see how they do first and make my decisions from that point. Brooklyn. Oh wait, hold on. Let me scroll back up a little bit. Yeah, kissing is an infidelity. Also emotional cheating. Yeah, I agree. Sasha knows about Nina and Drew sleeping together. This is true. This is true. Yeah, I hope she brings it up. I mean, the court thing starts this week, I think. So we're gonna see how that goes, and I hope that Sasha gets into a situation where it can be brought up in the courtroom, just so Willow could see, where things are going, or who Drew really is. Kaiwan, you think that the actor is a stronger Michael? Yeah, he could be. Yeah. But I mean, a real actor can kind of do it all, They can be like the humorous and the drama and the emotional stuff and, all of the above. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm holding my thoughts overall, but I'm not going to pretend that it's going to be a hard sell for me when I didn't like Chad Duell in the role in the first place. Really, I wanted Drew Garrett back. So now we just got to see how this guy does. What was I gonna say? Okay, well let's move on to the Geo stuff, because we're the drama is gonna continue with Michael, and it's gonna I feel like it's gonna get more crazy this week than it was last week. So I'm excited to see. But yeah, let's talk about Geo. Now, this boy, I just feel so bad for him, and also this cast has been bringing their A game for the story and the scenes that occurred this week. All the confrontations that occurred were so good. Lois being confronted by Dante, by Brooklyn, by Ned and Olivia, and Sunny in the aftermath of the nurse's ball. All fantastic scenes, all ripping Lois to shreds. Now, obviously the one that I feel like the audience has been waiting for was for Dante confronting Lulu. And it got freaking ugly, y'all. Dante thinks Lulu did this because of her petty need for vengeance against Brooklyn. I don't necessarily believe that. I think that she just genuinely wanted Dante to know the truth. And I think he's just too blinded by that. Dante thinks Lulu did that because of the petty revenge against Brooklyn. And he's also pissed that she didn't just tell him when she found out, which I think that she should have as well. But he even accuses her of wanting to reveal Gio's paternity to win him back. And Lulu gets so insulted that she shuts him down completely, says that they should only co-parent and that there's no need to even be friends. So yikes forever for that. But I'm also like, does this mean we can get Cody and Lulu now? Because I'd be down for that. Sorry, Molly. I want Cody and Lulu to kind of build a relationship. I like their friendship, and it just seems more real than his and Molly's. I don't know. And maybe that's just the acting styles of the actors involved, but like, I don't know. I feel like Alexa plays Lulu more realistically than, I think her name's Kristen, plays Molly. So it seems more believable to me. He said, yeah, great scenes, poor Rocco. Man. But yeah, as for Gio, this boy is just trying to process everything, and it was heartbreaking. And we talked a bit about it on Wednesday, but the scenes of Tracy introducing her family members that have either passed on or are living elsewhere was incredible. It got to me. It pulled on my heartstrings. It made me, teary. And Jane just did it so wonderfully. So I was really... That's probably my favorite scene of the week, honestly. But unfortunately, Brooklyn and Dante showed up just after that. Hey, Albert! Brooklyn and Dante showed up just after that. And he couldn't book it out of the Q house fast enough. Emma goes with him. And they go to the bridge where Robin and Stone used to go. And Robin and Jason. It was so cool seeing Emma there. And I love that she's just been so loyal to him in this time. His time of need, playing devil's advocate, but also respecting his feelings and validating them. Like, she really seems like the kind of friend that you'd want to have in your corner. I can't believe that I actually really love the actress that plays Emma. She is so good. And, you know, my feelings aside of wanting to see Brooklyn grow up and play Emma, like, I'm glad that if she's moved on with her life, that we have this fantastic actress playing her, because she's doing such a wonderful job with the show. And I like her. I like her. She's doing great. And she's got so many different parts of the character to play with, and she's doing well with all of them. Like the, you know, the sort of bad girl side, but also like the emotionally aware, the strong, smart, intelligent side of her, and like the loyal ride or die kind of friend that she can be. It's nice to see. Aaron, you said you kind of want Cody and Molly. That's fair. They're not my cup of tea. I don't hate them, but if I were to be able to choose between Cody and Lulu and Cody and Molly, then I would pick Cody and Lulu. But to each their own. No judgment on that. But yeah, anyway, so Emma and Gio, they end up at some random cabin with 2 beds, and she still tries to support them as he sees all the missing phone calls and texts from everyone involved. Gio knows he'll have to face him eventually, as does Lois, and Lois goes back to the queues after being God knows where. She probably crashed at the hotel or something. But she tries to talk to Brooklyn and get updates on Gio, and tries to justify her choices. Brooklyn obviously wasn't having any of it, and when things got really heated, in walks Gloria, Lois's mom, telling her not to yell at her that way. So yeah, it's a mess. But I am glad that they brought Gloria in on this, because, you know, they were both involved in hiding the secret. So my hope was that she would come back. So I'm glad she did. Just to kind of hear her make her case. Not that I think that anything that she would say would justify that sort of betrayal on Brooklyn. And Brooklyn even says, you know, if you change the plan, you should have hooked me into it. So yeah. I love that it was such an honest conversation. All the conversations with, like, Brooklyn and her family. Like, Brooklyn telling Ned, for instance, you know, why she didn't tell him and how she was afraid, and it had nothing to do with not trusting him. You know, she was a teenager, and that would be a terrifying thing to tell your dad. For any teenage girl, I think. So yeah, I don't know. GH was great last week. I enjoyed every episode. You know, it's like the first time in a long time where I was excited to just get home from work and turn on the TV and watch. You know, and base my schedule around it. Like, you know, like I gotta somehow get home a little bit early so I can watch this and share my thoughts, or watch this and then quickly go to where I have to go, like the concerts that I had to go to this weekend. But I prioritized. And it's been a minute since I've had to do that with GH. But yeah, so those were like the 2 major stories. The only other thing that happened storyline-wise outside of that was Alexis, Lucky, and Christina meeting at her office to hear, you know, to just kind of go through every detail of what happened that night, and when it comes to Elizabeth and Rick, and what they can do to work around it, should there ever be a situation where an investigation starts on the crash. Unfortunately for Alexis, Laura caught wind that there's money being stolen from Ace's trust fund. Now, I don't know if she's going to rope Laura into this and tell her what's going on, or come up with a lie to make sure Laura avoids suspicion, but it's going to have to be one hell of a lie to justify it. But yeah, the way the show goes, I'm going to guess that Alexis is probably going to try to just lie to Laura. But I think that Laura will remain suspicious and kind of dig further and figure out why Alexis is skimming money from the Quartermain, or not the Quartermain, the Cassadine trust fund for Ace. But yeah, that was pretty much it. I know it's like a kind of a short, but like, you know, we only had really 2 of the storylines to deal with. But what were your highlights of the week, chat? Because I've already said mine. Again, my favorite scene this week was Tracy emotionally running through her family members with Gio. Angel says, I don't know how you lie away $10 million. Yeah. I mean, she could try to blame, like, another Cassadine. Maybe think another Cassadine is doing this, and Alexis is going to act innocent in this. The only thing I'm thinking about is the one scene a couple weeks back where Cody noticed the card that Rick and Ava were paying their drink tab with, and that card has the name of the investment company. So maybe he'll be the one to somehow put it together. Like maybe, I mean, since Cody is in Molly's sort of corner, maybe she'll get suspicious on like what Christina could be hiding, what Rick and her mom will be hiding if she walks in on, you know, a suspicious conversation between Rick and Alexis. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see. Oh, I forgot to mention that about Lila's ring. Thanks, Kawan. So, going back to Michael's stuff for a minute, just this pettiness situation. So, Willow's wedding ring belonged to Lila. Now, Monica gave that to Michael, and Michael gave that to Willow. So, and Drew wants to pettily keep it because he feels entitled to it, as if he wasn't going to, you know, tear down Lila's grave just to stick it to Tracy. And I hope that backfires on him because, like, first of all, Monica gave that to Michael. Monica did not give that to Drew. So I feel like Monica should call him out on that. But I feel like it's going to be a minute before Michael, you know, realizes that Drew's kept it for himself. Allison, you said Tracy has been great and everyone in that story, it's so good. Yeah, like, we have such a great cast on this show, y'all. We have such a great cast. And it's like, I'm so grateful, especially when I compare to like Beyond the Gates, where like a lot of the cast is just not great. And I want them to be great. Just for the record, I want Beyond the Gates to succeed and be successful for decades to come. They just got to do a few recasts for me to actually go back to watching it. It still records on my DVR, by the way, but I just I haven't watched just because I can't get past some of the acting. Drew wants to sell that ring. Is that what he's wanting to do? Gross. A sick F he is. Angel said, I loved every moment. Michael telling off Willow. Yeah, that girl's hopeless. Yeah, like, honestly, yeah, I guess I feel like that was probably my second favorite moment of the week. Specifically him like being like, Wiley told me that he's wondering when we're going back to our home. So like, are you living in a fantasy world? Did you not tell them that you actually live there now and that this is their home? Did you just like let that slip under the rug and hope that they wouldn't notice and would just get used to it? She gave Lila's ring to Nell Benson. I mean, wait, were Michael... It's been so long since that story now. Like, did Michael and Nell get engaged? Did he ever propose to her? You think Michael's lying up and down? I don't think so. We see Wiley like twice, you know. We've not really seen Wiley much in Drew's house to begin with because they don't show the kids. So I think it's perfectly believable. And I feel like hopefully if there's any hope left for Willow and any sense of the writers, we'll actually see a scene where Willow talks to Wiley about living with Drew and moving with Drew, and if they get custody, moving to DC and not being with Michael. Like, I need this to come up. realistically, in a real world, they need to compromise. They need to. They both know it's the best for the kids. I think Drew being in the picture is a factor, and we know that he's lying to Willow through his teeth. I mean, Willow saw that he had a little vial, and that's the vial that he planted to frame Tracy for his own drugging. You know? And so, like, little plants are there that can maybe sort of get the wheels turning in the head. And if Sasha manages to bring up Nina and Drew's affair and why, what Nina did to try to win Willow over and what Drew did to manipulate her into making a relationship with her mother, like, that needs to come out, and Willow needs to open her eyes, because the man has been playing her like a fiddle since the beginning to sort of, for his own selfish needs, like moving his political career forward. He brought Nina closer to Willow in exchange for, meeting that one politician that helped him get through the door. And, and this while he really hated Nina, and this while Willow had every reason to avoid Nina. So there's like, if when that shit comes out, like, I feel like that'll hopefully, God willing, open her damn eyes, because he's not a good man. He's not a good man. And, like, he has manipulated her every step of the way. There's no doubt about it. And it sucks because, like, it's just that cult mentality, right? It's not the first time she was easily duped into... Nathan says, I'm telling you, Shiloh. Yeah, exactly. The Shiloh. He's not Shiloh. But they basically are the same kind of person, for sure. Manipulating people into thinking that they're these sort of rescuers, and really they're just using her. Willow, really Drew is using Willow for vengeance. Like, yeah, he had an affair, and now he's just like, it's like he's kind of staying with her just to piss Michael off. He does not even, like, I don't think he even really loves her. I think he loves being with her because it upsets Michael and upsets the Qs that he wants to get petty revenge on. Allison says he's creepy, telling Willow she can't leave him alone. I don't think he manipulates Willow. Well, yeah, he does, though, because he's like, he manipulated her into building a relationship with her mom, and he manipulated her into, seeing Michael as this evil guy. He manipulated her into thinking that Michael did not want to see her at the clinic, and that was just a couple weeks ago. So he is manipulating her, and she's just too blind to see it. Yeah, Sandy, you said Willow needs to learn how he played her, and she left her family for a skeezer. Yeah, exactly. Like, he is still playing her. Instead of like letting Willow respectfully go and figure things out with Michael, he paid someone to tell her that he did not want to see her. And I need Michael to somehow find that out. I don't know how he could find that out, but he needs to find that out. But yeah, it's a mess. It's a mess. Drew hasn't cared about Sam in years. Yeah, had nothing to do with Sam. Angel, preach, Angel. Angel said it right there. Drew is totally manipulating Willow. If y'all can't see that by now, Drew is manipulating y'all too. It's so plain to see. Yes. Art imitates life sometimes, doesn't it, folks? But yeah, it's it's just sad. It's sad. It's just a game to him. Exactly. It's a mess. It's a mess. But yeah, I mean, Willow unfortunately had the misfortune of being raised in a cult, and I think that probably getting rid of that cult mentality is probably such a hard thing to do. And like obviously she did sort of catch wind that what was going on with Shiloh wasn't right eventually and got out of there as fast as she could. But look how much it took to fully escape him. You know? Like, he basically chased her down, opened up Dawn of Day in Port Charles, found her. Like, it was just a mess. Angel, you said every time I see Willow take up for Drew, I get secondhand embarrassment. I do too. But yeah, so it's you know, I in some sense I do feel sorry for Willow because again, that cult mentality thing, like it's not an easy thing to shake. It's not an easy thing to escape. And you know, whether Drew has kind of used those tactics purposely, I don't know. I don't think so. Like, I don't remember how much he knows about that. I don't think he was in town when she was still in the cult, right? So, or, you know, involved in a way of trying to escape it. But, yeah. Girl needs therapy. She needs to go to therapy. Yeah, that's the thing, like, I noticed that she went to therapy for giving up Wiley, or giving up the baby she thought was Wiley for adoption. And that's how Michael and Willow met. But when she realized that her baby was actually dead, instead of really going to therapy for that, she literally just kind of latched on to Wiley. And from the get-go, for me, watching that particular story play out at the time, like, I was like, this is not a healthy way for her to deal with it. Like, she is kind of putting her own baby onto Wiley. And like not fully processing that part. So I don't think she should have been allowed to adopt Wiley in the first place, because that wasn't healthy either. She's just made a lot of mistakes with her life. And honestly, being with Michael was one of them. Like, I never liked them either. She had a perfectly good man with Chase, but unfortunately Chase and Sasha made the decision to kind of push them together for the sake of Michael getting custody of the kid over Nell. So really, she's just been manipulated by everyone in her life. So I can't fault her. I mean, I can fault her a little bit. Like, why aren't you learning from your errors of your life when it's just always constantly sort of spiraled each time? And yet, here we are again, spiraling for another man that is not great to her. And just pretending that he's someone else to her. Well, to be fair, Kaiwan, they villainized Nell because she is a villain. Like, but arguably Willow would have been the better parent between the two of them. But at the same time, like, Willow really shouldn't have been able to adopt him. I think Michael was just grateful that there's this woman that really cares about his child when the child was, you know, essentially Nell's baby. And Nell was a freak who literally passed off a dead child as her child with Michael. So, you know, it's a complicated mess, but Willow she don't learn. She's got a lot of people manipulating her, and she's, you know, now she's in sort of the clutches of, like, arguably the biggest manipulator that she's ever faced. Even with Shiloh, you know, she at least caught wind and got out. But everyone has been telling Willow exactly who Drew is, and every single bit of it has gone over her head. When, like, the entire town can see the kind of man Drew is, and she's the only one that can't, and she doesn't notice that she's been isolated from everybody that she's ever cared about, all of her friends and family. She's basically going to strangers and looking for validation for the life that she has right now. Instead of just like looking at it personally, she's having to go to people to be told this is okay. And the only people telling her this is okay are the people that don't know him and have not much to say about him. It's all hearsay. And I think it's perfectly fair of them to be using their own judgment, not knowing who he is. But like, you know, eventually he's gonna probably pick up on things. And I bet if, like, for example, Isaiah sees the kind of man Drew is, because I think that's a possibility, because he already kind of knows that Portia was hiding something from Curtis, and when he finds out it's about Drew blackmailing her, then, like, that kind of gives him an opportunity to bring that up to Willow in some way, since they are friends, and be like, hey, just so you know, I found out Drew was blackmailing Portia into doing his bidding. And I don't think that Willow thinks that Drew is capable of that kind of behavior, but I don't know. Like, I fear that, like, if he does tell her, she's gonna be like, you're just like everybody else. And I wouldn't even be able to, like, help myself. I'd be like, you mean correct like everybody else? I'm just saying what I've observed, and this is what I found out, and you're choosing not to believe it. Why? What do I have to gain by telling you this? Like that. I hope Isaiah is that kind of person, but we'll have to see. Sandy says Drew has the money to buy people and sinister enough to blackmail people. That's why they need to break him. Mm-hmm. I don't think Willow's being taken advantage of. I think Willow just depends on men because her father didn't raise her, though, I don't think. Her mother did. Like, Harmony, well, I mean, her adoptive mother, Harmony essentially raised her, and yeah, like, the father was in life, but he died. So, like, really, I don't know. Willow needs to rely on herself. But I think, you know, people like Drew pick up on, you know, people like Willow's sort of vulnerabilities. And if he is using that to his advantage, that means he is manipulating her. That is common sense, Kaiwan. Allison, what about Shiloh? Is Harmony's man even around Willow? I mean, well, like, no. Well, really, no. It was Harmony that was kind of going from cult to cult, because Harmony was kind of like Shiloh's ride or die, and why Willow ended up with him in the first place. Wasn't Harmony married to Shiloh? I don't think so. I don't think so. I know Nell was. Nell married Shiloh before he died. Or before she died. Angel says, manipulation like people that were in abusive relationships and cults. That's why you don't get too personable with people you are dating too quick. And, you know, unfortunately, Willow kind of was. Manipulators. Okay. But yeah. Yeah, Willow really didn't get to know Drew at all. She just sort of latched on to him because he rescued her in Greenland. Harmony cheated on her husband with Shiloh. That I'd believe. I feel like that's just a storyline in general that I mostly blocked out, but I do remember that it was Harmony that brought Willow from cult to cult to cult. And Shiloh was just the latest who ended up getting her pregnant. But yeah. Anyway, y'all. I don't have a whole lot more to say, and I don't want to stick around too much longer just because my allergies are still kind of bothering me, and I don't want to start like sniffling and my eye getting more itchy as I'm trying to be on screen. So we'll end it here. I can't live stream this Wednesday. My bass player has a concert. And I thought it was Thursday initially, but it's Wednesday. So probably we'll live stream on Thursday instead. I don't think I have anything going on the Thursday. No. Not till Friday. So, yeah. So we'll live stream Thursday instead of Wednesday. Okay, guys? I don't know what the live stream will be. We'll probably hang out, and if I can... if we watch classic things, I want it to somehow tie into the current show. So we'll see what happens on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday's episodes, and if there's anything I can kind of connect to a classic clip, we'll watch the classic clip on Thursday, and if not, we're just going to hang out and sort of check in with each other on our thoughts on the show. And then, of course, the regular recap will be on Sunday. But yeah, I hope you guys had a great weekend, and that you guys have a great week ahead of you. I'm looking forward to seeing GH and seeing more of the fallout. Obviously, the court hearing is going to begin with Michael and Willow. And we'll have to see how that goes. But in the meantime, I will catch you guys on the flip side. If you like this live stream, give it a big old thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to. And I will catch you guys this Thursday. Good night, y'all. Mwah.